The CHP and the San Francisco Police Department just released their preliminary findings on the November 13th, 2015 bus crash that took place in Union Square. I represent the driver, Kenneth Malvar. The unfortunate findings of this report are that there are no findings. And so there's a basic cop-out, or basically the lowest common denominator finding is that the driver's at fault. I've been involved in many sudden acceleration cases over the last 30 years. In almost every case, they were unable to find a cause. That is because often when there's unintended acceleration, there's a stuck throttle that becomes unstuck in the impact. Or something becomes stuck open, some valve, some lever, or some wheel. Some part becomes stuck and you have an unintended acceleration. Very tough to reconstruct. So in this case, there was a lot of damage to the bus. They were unable to actually do a proper examination of the parts by their own admission. They took the parts out of the bus, repaired them to their pre-accident condition, and then tested them. And it's no surprise that they were unable to determine the cause, despite their best efforts. Now, I have no aspersions against the police. I'm sure they did their best. But let's remember that the City and County of San Francisco, as well as the California Highway Patrol, have both been criticized in this case because of their failure to properly inspect in a bus that was unlicensed, in a bus that was never properly inspected or certified for use in California. This is a bus company that has had other problems that they found when they did the inspection, and our own driver had another brake failure in a different bus of the same type. So these are things that occur, we know they occur, and because they did not find anything, the easiest thing to do is to take the cop out and blame the driver like they did in this case. That is an opinion, and that is not evidence. In this case, it's their opinion that because they couldn't find anything else, that it must have been the driver. Let me tell you that my driver is a Marine who's been driving for 15 years, kept his wits about him, and saved a lot of lives that day. He knows the difference between the gas pedal and the brake pedal, and he testified that he put the gas on and the gas stayed on, which of course accounts for the fact that they found that the throttle was used and that the brakes were ineffective in slowing down the bus. He did the best that he could, maneuvering around and finding the best possible place to crash that bus, which he did.
Did he say he was panicking after he hit the bicyclist?
I think, again, to give specifics of what he said, I probably don't want to release all that information, again, because of all the...
Is your investigation complete?
My investigation is complete at this point. However, I think at this point, a lot of this information is going to be in like the civil litigations that come later on. He himself, from my recollection, he does not say he panicked, but he did, as you can see in the videos that everyone has seen, he did a very good job steering the bus. So in that sense, he did have a state of mind to still manipulate this bus and avoid several other vehicles and people that were on the roadway. So he still had a present state of mind to maneuver the bus in that sense.
And where approximately was did the speeding actually take place? Was this before Post Street, or are we talking about after he says the bus lost control?
So he starts accelerating from Taylor, and as he progresses down, when contact's made with the bicyclist, the barricades, it's somewhere in that point is where he starts to accelerate rapidly. At some point down the road, he reaches speeds upwards of 45 miles an hour, and then at impact, there's again some variances. He could have slowed down slightly, but he does an average speed of 40 to 45 during a large course of the Post Street I'd say from about maybe Powell Street down to the crash.
He had nothing to drink. He was not under the influence of anything, which they admit. He'd had plenty of sleep. This was a mechanical failure, and unfortunately they did not find the cause, so the easiest thing to do is to blame the driver, and it's very unfortunate in this case. That is an opinion that will not hold up in court. In fact, it would not even be admissible in court because it's not based on fact. That's their opinion, and they're stating it as fact. So it's unfortunate that the facts are they could not find the cause, and they should have left it that way rather than to cast aspersions against this driver who did everything possible to try to avoid a worse catastrophe, which would have happened had he not heroically driven the bus the way that he did. So, thank you.